Hello, hello. So I'm going to be streaming, working on a new redeem for stream, and what I'm gonna do is a junk rift redeem where a rift is going to open on stream on the screen, and then one of the junks is going to fly down and land at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to randomize its position, where it's going to show up, or where it's going to land, and I'll randomize which junk falls. And the first one I figured out to work on would be the dinosaur. So I just need to the fun process of cutting this out, because I couldn't find just straight up graphics of the dinosaur, and it was difficult to find a rift in the game. Well, I mean, you can find one obviously, but the colors, the blue sky against blue rift, is kind of going to be hard to cut out. But luckily I found this. Now this is like the portal that you like jump into, but I can kind of make it how I want. So I'll start with adjusting the size of this rift so it displays how I want it to. And so my idea was, since I couldn't get the viewpoint what I wanted from the game because everything's blue with the blue sky, I just got this graphic I found on the internet from just some Fortnite wiki. And so (1920 by 1080) screen size, what I'm working with. Then I'm going to use a placeholder. This is basically what the stream looks like with minimal setup. I usually just have to join my games at the top, my PNG tuber. So I'm going to put this on the background so I can kind of guide myself on what I'm doing. So I want this junk rift, or this rift, to open up at the top of the screen, but not like this. I want it stretched out as if it's coming from the sky. So I'm just going to shrink it and stretch it out. Start it from the center there. And so we can kind of imagine on stream how this would look. Like that's probably too shrunken too much. Maybe like that. And we could also kind of get it up off the top of the screen a bit. It doesn't have to be fully in this view. Probably do something like that. So it's kind of not as visible because I'm against the blue water, but that's just going to depend on what I'm looking at on screen. So I'm imagining I'm going to need to have this graphic here, and I'm going to have it zoom in and blow up on the screen. Hi, monks. We're doing the fun things. So this is actually not going to be a 16 by 9 image because, well, I could do that and just then I'd have to reposition the whole image. Like what I'll end up doing is save this as Sky Rift. I'm going to call it Sky Rift because for lack of knowing the name of it, just call it a Rift, I guess. Workspace, because this is the file I'm using to like get a feel for what it's going to look like. Yeah, because trying to go into the game itself and take a picture of a rift in the blue sky, a blue rift against a blue sky, that was gonna like, it's hard to like do that. So I just shrunk this one. It was just the graphic of a rift, and I just shrunk it up like that. I kind of cheese it, kind of fake it. I think it's good enough. Save. Then I'm gonna take this, make a new file, exactly the size that I need. So there's our rift that's going to open up at the top of the screen. Of course, it won't have a white background. That's just so we can see it. I'll take away the white background. Now I'm going to export it as transparent PNG. Rift. Sky. I try to name things like the first word in the name of stuff is consistent of what I'm doing, and then every other. So this could be I could call it Junk Rift because I'm making a Junk Rift thing. But what if I want to use a rift in the sky for other stuff? So I was going to label all my images Junk Rift hyphen whatever it is. It's not a big deal. I'll just go Rift Sky. And then I'd make a folder called exports for final product graphics. Okay, so there's a transparent rift. And so now that's it right there on screen. I'm thinking, imagine it's centered and it goes, Kyo, kapow. But stays centered and then shrinks when it's done, goes away. And actually leave that up there for fun. We could have clouds. That's too much. So I don't need to keep this. I'm just using that to export it. This is my actual workspace. But I'm done with that. I'm done with making the rift. I'll close that. Now I need to cut this dinosaur out. We can get a head start. We'll just select subject. And it's pretty much got all that we need. That's not his tail. That's a piece of junk. I'm gonna remove that little piece up there. And then okay, so his entire body looks like it's properly like 80% correct. It's a few edges. Need to grab in the edge there. Now here it's highlighted It's highlighted the roof in the background of that barn. That's not part of his foot. I'm going to erase that. It's over grabbed, over selected. Looks like it's missing some of his chest here, or his neck. Missing some horns. I'd like to have a stylus or something. Might make stuff like this easier. I'm not an artist at all. I'm just cutting things out, so I never really invest in anything like that. I just use my mouse, so I'm always just goofing around. But even that still would be nice to get it done quicker. This is not too bad. This is just some straight. I'm basically highlighting some triangles with a little bit of curvature in them. It's not a straight edge. And I pace it out little bits at a time in case I mess up. Think this has got it. Come here and select the rest. Okay. Oh, he's got too much extra. Oh, you can't see because of the rift. Got too much extra selected over here. Looks good, except when I was taking the screenshot, there I was trying to rotate the image because when a junk rift deploys, well, there's a lot of junk. It's not just the dinosaur. There's a chair up here. There's a bunch of particle effects and things like that. So I'd rotate the camera in the replay feature in Fortnite and have it paused, try to line up my shot. But I had a little bit of glowing particle here, and I was like, well, that's not a big deal. I can still just cut it out, or not cut it out, but I can blend in the colors around it. So right now I have the dinosaur highlighted. I need to copy, paste. Now I have a dinosaur. Okay, now let's get rid of this thing. It's not totally accurate. We need that line. I think that's good enough. Fly. That I could have just blended that in with smudging it around. That's not really same difference. Use the clone stamp. Maybe the smudging. There it is, smudge. Nope, that just put a hole in it. A hole in them. Oh, I need to collapse the fill space. Now I can smudge it without it ripping a hole in his tail. I think that's pretty good. I mean, let's zoom out. There. No one knows. No one knows that there was a problem. It's good enough. Junk Rift Dino. I don't want to spell dinosaur. I don't need to, it's already a good size. It's already cropped around him. I could crop more, but no one's going to know. It's going to be transparent. Okay. Like, what's the next step? I got the rift. I got a dino. Like that. Okay. Oh, I need to export a PNG. So, rift opens. Dino appears. Comes down the screen. Boom. And then goes, halfway buried. Just like in the game. But then I guess I'll just have to make it fade away because I don't know what. Well, I could make it go further in the ground. Yeah, that would look better than just simply disappearing. So the rift's going to show up. Dino appears in front of it. I can make the dino fade in at this point, so it looks like he's teleporting. And he's going to go bow, and then slam down on the ground. The rift disappears. The dino sits there for just a few seconds, not long, and then disappears, crawls down under the ground. So we're done with Photoshop. Time to make the redeem. Let me hide the dino. No, I don't. Why not? I'll just leave him there. Just for fun, for funsies. This is weird. Like I can't. I get confused on what part of the screen I'm clicking on because I can see my own mouse is being captured in the display capture. So right now, I think I'm on the OBS screen, but I'm not because look, my mouse goes underneath the dinosaur. So actually, I need to put my mouse all the way to the other monitor, then click on the dinosaur. Like, where's my mouse? Gotta pay attention. Okay. Kind of running out of room on this thing. I used to have, these are arranged the way they are because I one-to-one relationship with my Stream Deck buttons. So I'd arranged them in the same pattern, and this blank space on the ends were my backwards and forward arrows to go through the pages of the Stream Deck. That's why there's a gap. That way, it's just for organization. But now I have the bigger Stream Deck. It doesn't make really any sense anymore. So I'm just going to, I'll just add the dino in the middle. Well, it's going to be called a junk rift. Button ID. I start all my redeems with R underscore. For consistency and labeling. I think first things first, I gotta make the redeem itself. Then I'm gonna make what happens. Junk right. Well, I keep typing right. Rift. Fortnite junk rift. Cost. I'm just gonna make it one channel point right now, so it's at the top of the list so I can test it. I have to give it a whole bunch of uses. Otherwise, if I just make it unlimited by unchecking these, going through this program historically, I end up with one use per stream. So I have to actually turn it on anyway and then just give it 1,000 uses. $30 seconds. And right now what I'm building for starters is one at a time. Disappears and then the next one you can do. But I could expand on that so you could have more than one rift on the more than one junk on the screen. But you probably don't want too many. Okay, so I created the Twitch redeem for the junk rift. Channel point redemption. Junk rift. Okay, so now I have linked that channel point redeem to this button. Now need to make it happen. Okay. what needs to happen first is we need to display the rift. So we need to change the source's visibility to turned on. And right now I'm building this inside of my display capture scene directly, so I don't have to bounce around to other scenes and lose capture of what I'm showing. But normally I put it underneath a scene that I have just for redeems, and that scene is nested, a nested scene. That's why I put NS and then I include it. So Rift Sky has to become visible. And then become not visible. I'll just say 5 seconds for now. I can always adjust it later. And really, actually, once I add in the zoom in and out effects, I don't really need to make it not visible, but because I'm going to shrink it down. But thinking about it again, I should make it not visible because then it will unload the photo. It will unload the image from OBS memory when I make it invisible, because I'm going to have that checkbox to unload if not showing. So you might as well just make it not visible, even though I technically don't have to. Like, some of these things that I do just go off the screen and they're sitting there off the screen waiting. They're not like actually invisible. It's almost like, there's a second invisible monitor that doesn't exist, and the source is like 20 pixels off the edge of the screen waiting to come in at moment's notice. So the positioning of the junk rift doesn't need to change so far. Or junk rifts, or the sky. I want to make sure. I just got to put it where I want. Okay, something like that. Okay, it's gone. Now, I'm going to redeem it. It appears. 5 seconds later, disappears. Okay. That's the start of it. I'll expand on it later. Here's all my redeems, and you can see how my my old Stream Deck, the redeems are laid out pretty much the same as I have them in Sammy. Fireworks, jump, I say banana. That's why I made him like that. So the organization is the same. But now I got more buttons. It's not really laid out the same way. Anyway, there's still a bunch of room here. So I can put it here. I need the Sammy action. I kind of got lazy and I stopped making icons for all these, so now they're just words. And to fill the blank space, I just use the black Windows icon because it's square. You know, I can barely see that, which is the goal. I don't need to see it. Action ID is going to be the same as the button ID here in Sammy. Title, Junk Rift. Why is that not showing up? Disabled. They all look the same. I think, well, I heard that there was compatibility issues with the latest Stream Deck version, and mine have continued to work, but maybe making a new one doesn't work. We'll find out. We'll find out soon here if it still does or not. Because it's not showing, for starters, it's not showing the title. That may be a sign of problems to come. But I should be able to push that button, and it should do it. Oh, it errored out. But I can do something else. Oh, they're all broke now. So making a new one broke it, but I would have to downgrade my Stream Deck version. But this doesn't matter. We can still redeem it inside of chat. So forget that for now. Okay, what's the next step? Next step is when the Rift when the Rift shows up, we need the Rift junk to display. Maybe 1 second after the Rift opens. And then 10 seconds in total is when the dinosaur is going to completely disappear. But by then, it's already going to be down and off the screen because I'm going to make it have motion. Motion source position, because we want the dinosaur to appear at the top of the screen and then fall to the bottom of the screen. And we also need to delay that movement so that it starts moving once it appears. We don't want it to start moving and then appear. We can have it start moving and appear like 100 milliseconds before it actually appears. So it doesn't just appear and then start moving. It needs to already be in motion as it appears. So I made a 900 milliseconds delay, 900 milliseconds after the rift opens. The dinosaur is going to start moving down the screen, and then 100 milliseconds after the dinosaur starts moving, it's going to actually show up. So it's already in motion as it appears out of the rift. So we need the XY coordinates of where the dinosaur should start and then where it should end. And to do that, I go matrix mode, and now we are looking at the dinosaur multiple times. So as you are moving a source around in OBS, you'll see these pixel counts of the distance it is from left and right. And the coordinates I need start from the top left corner is where the reference point is, if I remember correctly. I can always change the reference point to, like, say, the middle of the dinosaur itself, the middle of the image, and then say whatever XY pixel coordinates the middle of the dinosaur is going to be. So since I'm starting it off the screen so much, you have to kind of do some math. Oh no, math. Gross. I could just have the dinosaur be completely off the screen for now. So that's going to be 1080 height. And I can change the reference point to being the bottom middle. All right. Forget exactly what you... Oh, there it is, point. I started typing point. There it is, change, source change center point. Bottom center. We'll just start in the middle. So (1920) divided by 2 is 960. So 960 pixels over from the left of the OBS screen is where this bottom marker... Oh, you can't see it because I'm not doing it anymore. This bottom middle dot on this red line that I grab, I have changed that to be the center point of this image. And I'm going to say move this dot 960 pixels to the right of the left side of the screen. And then I'm going to say move it up 1080 off the screen. Hello, Ebby, dropping in. Oh, the dinosaur. The dinosaur going to get there first. Ow. Uh-oh, someone just dropped a junk rift on your head. Junk rift. Boom. Okay. So I'm making a channel point redeem live on stream where the rift is going to open up on the sky, and then the dinosaur is going to come down and crash. Right now, it's going to simply appear just abruptly, but I'm going to make it like zoom in and out and like appear that way and randomize where it's going to land and do other fancy things to it. But for now, I'm just saying, show it, hide it, make it. I had to, for the rift, I couldn't just go into the game and take a picture of a rift opening in the sky because the sky is blue and so is the rift. So I just got an image from a Fortnite wiki site. And then layered it on top of a screenshot from my stream from a reference point, and then I stretched it out. I shrunk it and stretched it out, so that's good enough. And then I cut out the dino. I went into a custom map that allows you to just pick out any items you want, and I threw a bunch of rifts until I got a selection of different items. Yeah, so I have an anchor, dinosaur, and a buoy. And then I went onto YouTube and got a like 30-second file of different sound effects of riffs crashing so that I can cut that out and put it with it. Yep. I have a opening rift sound and I have the dinosaur crashing sound. He goes and it crashes. And so if I'm looking at, I used my Sammy bot to make this red dot that you grab onto in OBS to select things. I made that red dot in the middle, the reference point. So I say 960 pixels to the right, which is the middle, and then 1080 pixels up is where it's going to start. And then I say, make it move, 1080 pixels down and a little bit more, and then stop here. And then after a while, it'll disappear from screen by just going down. Trying to remember, is it the y coordinates from the bottom, counted from the bottom or from the top? We get as a Switch 2 tomorrow. Switch 2, 2, 2, 2 tomorrow, 2. Tomorrow, tomorrow 2. If I run this now, the dinosaur should move. Oh, I did it backwards. The dinosaur is floating. Okay. Go repossess. Repossess them. Okay. I have to do math. I could just guess. I don't really need to do it precisely. Hey, that's a pretty good guess. Let's put his feet a little further in the ground. Oh, that's too far. That was only that was a 200 pixel difference. Let's try. Maybe too much. It's like I did it too soon. I didn't wait. There we go. Okay. You see a little bit of his front arms still. So I think I'll do this one. I'm picky. I want his arms to be buried. I mean, I'm not sure how far it goes. I think it goes about like this in the game because I was just looking at it. That's how I got the picture in the first place. Now I'm just taking a look at the speed of it. I think that should be faster. I mean, it could be slow so you can actually get to see it. But also, I guess I can always adjust the sound effect. So the sound effect is timed with the landing and the hitting the ground. I can make it whatever speed I want. Okay. Now I need to get the sound effects. Now, where did I put those? Okay, I'm going to be playing these sounds. You're not going to be able to hear them, though, because I don't have it routed that way. Yes, I'm using CapCut just to edit audio. Junk Rift open sound. Okay. You're not going to hear it because I don't have it routed. But once I add it in OBS, you'll hear it. And every single like sound that I put into OBS, I adjust the volume level of them so that they're all pretty much, you know, the same loudness, same volume, because some things sound louder than others, but I try to target -6 just because that was like the baseline that I've seen others say, and some streamers that I watch for a long time that are, you know, have loud volume and stuff. Not like overly loud, but like good loud. I just like download their clips and I compare, you know, and I ended up finding out that they're hitting around -6. But, you know, sometimes I'll see people say like, oh, you need to make sure all your audio hits 0 and doesn't go over. And it's like, that's super loud and red. And I don't know. I'm not audio engineer. So I play it on the safe side, I guess. So this one's pretty loud. And CapCut, when you go above -6, the lines turn red and it starts to get distorted. So that's kind of what I visualize, and that's where I'm at. I think that's pretty good. It's floating around -6. Heavy redeemed first in the chat. Okay, so that is my first, second, and third redeem. So when you claim first, it puts your name inside the redeem as claiming first. And then the next person claims second. It says you can claim second in chat. And then the third person tries to claim third. It's going to say, nope, no one's claimed second yet. Reward is unavailable. And if the same person tries to claim second, if they've already claimed first, it's going to do it. It's going to waste your points. And it's going to say that it was redeemed. But then a message pops up and says, you know, oh, no, you can't do that. You already got first. And then the redeem remains available until someone who actually hasn't gotten second yet redeems it. But I need to work on it still because I thought you could do, when I originally built it, I was like, well, I'll set the redeem to 1 per stream, but that doesn't make any sense because anyone can redeem more than 1 and you've already canceled it out. You wasted up the redeem per stream. But I need to make it remain available for someone who's eligible to redeem it. That's my original first in chat, which I actually will continue to use. But I had, on my recent stream, I was just building other stuff for fun, and I left it on there. So there makes up for it. I just manually did it. Anyway, my volume here is adjusted on this redeem. And I also, there's a little bit of extra space I don't need before it actually plays. Then the rest of the file I can cut off. Okay. I'm going to export it now. Okay. Called Junk Rift Opening. So I'm starting all my files for this redeem with Junk Rift, no space, and then a hyphen, and then what it is going to be after it. We're not exporting the video. We only want the MP3 audio. Audio exported. Now we need the dinosaur sound. So one of these in here is about halfway through. There it is. Let's cut that out. Okay. How loud is that? As long as it's not distorted, I can always turn it down. I mean, I could always add gain to turn it up if I had to. Okay, you can't hear, again, you can't hear what I'm doing because it's not routed, but you will eventually when I put it in OBS. I'm going to export Junk Rift Dino MP3. Hello, IMK. I'm making redeems live on stream. What's going on? Good evening. It's the evening. Yeah, can't believe it's 2:45 a.m. I'm doing okay. I'm in the middle of moving by the end of the month. And here I am messing around, streaming and making redeems when I could be packing, yeah? So I'm about to add this file into OBS. It's an audio file. So hopefully it doesn't blast any eardrums, but I'm going to make some adjustments as quick as I can. Okay, I turned it off right away.
It ain't making me laugh, but I get it.
Of course, I have to turn it back on again in order to get the audio level to show up in the redeem. Now we get Streamception Matrix. Okay, turn that off. Actually, preview. Put the preview on another screen so I can see what I'm doing and not mess it up. There. Hello, Bear. What's going on? I'm going to turn this redeem on. It might be very loud, but then I'm going to turn the volume down real fast. So here we go. Okay. Turned it down. Okay, so all my redeems in OBS are set to monitor only because the OBS monitoring device is a separate channel that I loop back around in my mixer before it actually goes out to stream. So I do monitor only. I still would need to adjust the volume of the Junk Rift, but I'm going to start out low so don't blast any eardrums. So, because all the redeems have to be a little bit quieter than my voice, but maybe louder than the game. I don't know. And okay, I did that. Da 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 da. Okay, so the name of the file is junkrift-dino.mp3 is the name of the source. So I need that to play. Source visibility is going to get turned on. MP3. Oh, I got to add the other one too. Possible loudness warning. Okay, it's over. All right. Junk Rift. Open. So I got the opening sound for the Junk Rift added into OBS and the Dino sound. Now I need to have them turn on and off. Visible, Junk Rift. Well, the Junk Rift is going to open right away. Then the Dino sound is going to happen when the Dino shows up. The Dino shows up 1 second after the Rift opens. I might adjust that, but that's just starting point. The Dino sound is how long is it? Like 2-second file. So I'm going to make it disappear. If I make it disappear after 5 seconds, that's fine. It's just an audio file. You're not going to know. Oh, I copied the wrong one. MP3 dyno, turn off the visibility after 5 seconds. Same for the junk rift opening. Save. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, I did not hear the junk rift opening sound. Okay, that's probably because I already had it turned on. So everything's turned off now. When I hit it again, they should turn on. Yay, we did it. Now I need to like do more to it. I'm going to randomize its position left and right on the screen. So to do that, we just need to get a random number. A random number for the x coordinate. Yeah, just a random number for the x coordinates. We don't need random number for the y coordinates. It's always going to start from top to bottom. Random POS underscore X is what I like to use. Position X. The minimum position allowed. We need to make the reference point for the rift to be the center. Center, yeah, the center of the image. Because later I'm going to make the picture zoom in and out, and it needs to zoom in and out from the central point, not zoom in and out from the left corner. So I select the sky picture, put that at the top. Okay. I'm just going to pick a value of 300 with a maximum of 300 away from the far right of the screen, which would be 1920 pixels wide minus 300. So 1620 pixels. But I'll just make it. No, I'll go ahead and make it 1620. I was going to be like, oh, I'll just make it 1600. But no, let's. Either way, doesn't matter. It's 300 from the left and 300 from the right. 20 pixels does make actually a good enough difference because it was the difference between the dinosaur's foot showing or not. So I need to get that. Randomization is the very first thing that needs to happen at this point. Get that random number. I'm going to randomize the position of the sky, the rift in the sky, the left-right position. No, it doesn't need to have motion. That's the wrong one. So the X position is going to be a random number that gets stored in POS underscore X. Then the Y position is always going to be the same. I'm just going to guess right now. I can make an adjustment later. 50 pixels from the top of the screen is going to be the center point of the Rift image is going to be 50 pixels from the top of the screen. And that needs to happen just 100 milliseconds. No, that needs to happen right away after you get the random number. And then it's going to appear. Usually when I move something around the screen, I'd like to give it 100 milliseconds before you actually see it. No, 100. No, it's going to move on the screen 100 milliseconds before you actually see it. Because if I don't do that, sometimes there's instances where something will appear on the screen and move at the same time, and it just jumps and flickers. So I have to put a little bit of delay. So we got grab a random value for the left or right of the screen. We're making sure that the center point of the image is the center, and then that center point is going to end up being somewhere on that random X coordinates, and it's always going to be 50 pixels from the top of the screen. It's going to display, it's going to move and do all that movement. Then 100 milliseconds later, it's going to display. And when that happens, the junk rift sound is going to go. It's going to play. And then 1 second after the sky has opened and made a noise, the dinosaur is going to appear on the screen. And then move. It's going to make a noise. I need to change its positioning. Okay. And then the dino disappears. The rift sound turns off, and the junk rift dino sound turns off. None of this, some of this doesn't really matter what I'm rearranging here. I just like to, for organization. Everything looks the same. You kind of get, my eyeballs are getting lost of what I'm looking at. Okay, let's see what happens now. If there's anything wrong with it, I'll fix it later. I'm going to make that dinosaur. Maybe it should disappear sooner. But I was going to make the dinosaur move again. So let's do that. So after it crashes at its position, I'm going to create another movement that starts from that crashed position. And then how much further? I'm going to do 2,000. Because hopefully that takes the nose of the dinosaur 2,000 pixels below the screen. Hopefully that makes his tail be off the screen. I'm going to start with a lower number because I don't want to do like make him like super way off the screen and take longer to disappear. Same amount of duration of movement, but I need to delay the movement of disappearing. Let's start 8 seconds. This is 8 seconds after it's redeemed. The dinosaur will disappear. So other things are happening until then. So it's not 8 seconds after the dinosaur lands. It's 8 seconds after this redeem has run. And I think that's enough time to have the visualization of everything. So that looks like the dinosaur. Okay, that was definitely not enough movement to get off the screen. Kind of went halfway. Okay, the dinosaur is still landing in the middle of the screen and not where the rift is. Okay, this is where we troubleshoot our problems. So I have the left and right positioning POS X, and that's working in the sky. So I have hard-coded 960 in the middle of the screen for the dinosaur. So actually need to replace that positioning with whatever the random number is, which is the same number being assigned to the sky. Let's see how that looks. Right down the middle of the rift. Is he going to go off the screen? Nope, his tail's still sticking up. It needs another, let's just do another 100 pixels. 50 probably would have been enough. But now we got the nice 2100 instead of 2050. Okay. I'm going to pull this up on my phone and see how it sounds. And then I kind of compare that to other redeem sounds.
Oh, a banana. Oh, a banana. Oh, a banana. Oh, a banana. Oh.
Banana, 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 banana.
It seems like the dinosaur and the rift can be a little bit louder to be in line with what the other ones are. I turned him up by 2 decibels.
Oh, a banana. Oh, a banana. Oh, a banana. Oh, a banana. Oh.
There's 2 directions I can go from here now. I can make another junk image so something else falls and randomize that, or I could work on more animation. I think I'll work on the other 2 junks. That way, because we have something acceptable now. We have the appearance, disappearance of the rift and the junk and the sounds. It's there. It's working. It's, it does its job. So I might as well add 2 more so we have the variety. And then I can make it fancy later. I can spice it up and make the rift explode onto the screen and make the rift junk fade in as it falls so it looks like it's teleporting in. But when I do those things, it may not even look great. It may not look as good as I think. And then I might just not even do it. I might throw it away. So I'm not going to waste that effort on that right now. Let's randomize another one. Bear redeemed the rift. It is a success. Now the next one I can work on. This one is going to be easy compared to this one. Because this one has all these openings I have to cut out. And this one is just one solid. Okay, let's see what our automatic selection gives us. Actually did really well. Except this piece is not part of it. Neither is this. That's the sky. You could use a little cleanup here. Missing a good selection of it. Can't believe it missed these little dots here. And this big space in the middle. Oh, I just spotted some more stuff. And there's some on the outside edge. This is easy to do. I'll just make a big square. Make it all disappear. Okay, I don't see anything else. So I should be able to just copy that. I don't... Oh, there's still a missing artifact. If that's the only one, I can just cut it out. This one right here. This little sliver. Let's give it a quick inspection around the edges. That is almost give you a headache looking at all those checkered dots up close. All right, I'm going to save this image. Anchor. It's an anchor. Okay. Export. PNG. Add it in the OBS. Oh, the dinosaur is off the edge of the screen. Come back here, Dino. Pull you up by the tail. It's kind of get a visual of like how big should this be? It lands in the ground like that, maybe. The dinosaur lands about like that. I have to put on my thinking. Think. So I need a random number. And then out of those random numbers, we're going to do a thing. Okay. There's different ways I can do this, and there's different ways that I have done it. For example, when you do this, the glider is random. You get a random number is chosen through all this stuff. There's 16 gliders to choose from. I have to keep updating that number every time I add one. So 1 through 16, a random number is selected. If someone manually selects a glider by name, the number overrides whatever the random number was. And so you end up with the variable glider underscore random equaling to a number. And then all my gliders are numbered files instead of names. So that was kind of a weird system that I made because I didn't plan ahead of how it was going to work or what I was going to do as far as like naming them and letting people choose what glider they want and things like that. So when I started out with this dinosaur junk rift redeem, I'm naming the files what they are, dinosaur or whatever, and not random numbers. But I still need to get a random number. So I just added new things to the bottom. There we go. Junk random. I don't know. I just like to cut off the words. So the random number for junk can be 1 through. Well, if I have 3 junks, it could be 1 through 3. Right now, I have 2. Okay. Now, what I can do is if random number 2 if the random number ends up being number 2, for example, I could assign the value dino and then populate all the MP3s and files referencing the dino name. Or I could manually recreate all of these things for each individual one. I'd have a whole list of stuff just like this. That gives you more flexibility because the images might be different sizes or different positions. But if I were to try to just populate the word dino or the word anchor through all the commands, you're basically shoving the anchor through all the perimeters that were designed for the dino and maybe don't work for the anchor. Maybe the anchor the bottom of the anchor doesn't go down as far as the dino does. So you can't just share that information. You have to duplicate it and customize each one. Unless you started out with all your image sizes being the exact same and the center points and all this but that's a lot of work too. So I'm just gonna do whatever way works to make it work. So if the junk random number ends up being 1, we're going to do the dino because that's the first one I made. I got to put all these things in here. At least the dinosaur stuff. Not the sky. Okay. So if I force the random number to always be 1, this should work. It's going to randomize between 1 and 1. Broke it. Oh, it was so delayed. Oh, I see why. Because the randomization, when it's checking to see what to do with it, there's a 5-second delay on getting that random number. So sometimes this stuff just it puts in the delay from the previous one above it. I can show that, for example. See, it just copied the 100 milliseconds because it's assuming that the next thing you do needs to run at the same time or after the thing above it. And the 100 milliseconds is the timing that it defaults to so that they line up. Because basically it's been kind of weird to understand that everything here on the screen is practically running at the same time, but in order, like very fast, I guess. And you have to put delays. Because really, you could rearrange some of these things on the order here, and it won't matter. But some things it does matter, like finding out the value of certain things before you do the next thing. Okay, there you go. Now I'm going to copy this entire block of stuff here and redo it for the anchor. If it's number 2. And then I'm going to force the random number to always be 2 for testing, so I don't have to wait for the dyno to go through. Anchor. The anchor is in OBS. I'm going to start out with the same perimeters that were copied over from the dinosaur. We're going to have a dinosaur sound with the anchor for now until I edit that. See what this does. Okay, the anchor went way too far, but now we can adjust it. Not far enough. Getting there. Guess it should be more underground than that. It's hooking into the ground. I don't remember what it looked like in Fortnite, how far down it went in the ground. Do like 275. Okay, that's good enough. All right, now it needs to go away from the screen. It needs to go a little bit further.
They have no bananas. They have no bananas today.
Okay, I need to find out. I don't remember what the anchor sounds like. You know what? I'll just pull up the game because I have a sound file that has multiple riffs in it, but I'm not sure what the anchor is. It could be a boat sound, but there's also a buoy. So the buoy is going to have a bell sound. I think that one's the bell. I'm going to switch over to my game screen. I'm going to just boot up the game real quick. Boot up good old Fortnite. Just to hear what it sounded like. Okay, so it has a heavy iron metal sound, crashing sound. This is where I kept searching for the junk rift, and I finally found it after 4 minutes of running around. I forgot that's not going to work on this scene because I built all the redeem underneath the display capture scene just for temporary purposes. There you go. You got the seagulls and the bell for the buoy. And the heavy iron metal crashing sound for the anchor. Okay. I got the information that I needed. I can now grab that sound out of the sound file and assign it to OBS. Oh, I show the screen again. Yeah, at first I didn't want to delete this from the timeline because I made audio adjustments, but that's okay because I'll just look at what audio adjustment I made, -6, and just apply that again. That's the only change I made. You can't hear these because I don't have it routed. Okay, where's the seagulls and the buoy? Wow, the anchor sound just immediately has the sound of hitting the ground. There's no like follow up or lead up to it. The buoy sound does not exist in this sound file. I could always get it from the game itself. I could try that, but I could do a separate search on the YouTubes to see if someone has uploaded it. Quick warning for a few seconds. Volume might be loud with this anchor, and I'm going to turn it down. Okay. Now it's time to assign the anchor sound. It's in OBS. Now instead of playing the dino, I need to play the anchor. Oh, I got to update it in 2 spots. I only updated it on the disappearance of it and not the visibility turned on. Here we go. Okay, I need to adjust the timing of the sound. Feels like that should be falling faster. Yeah, because the dino was a different sized image. So visually the falling animation looks a little different when you change trying to use the same speed on a different size image because the distance it has to travel is different relative to its size. E equals MC squared. Sometimes I have to think about it and look at it several times. It's like, did the sound happen before or after? Because it's so close. Okay, the sound was slightly after. And then I got to go in the correct direction by lowering the delay of milliseconds for when the sound happens. Sometimes it's like, wow, does it have that weight to it, you know? Okay, I think that looks all right. All right, so let's randomize. I need to make sure that the buttons can queue up. one after the other. And then all I have to worry about is setting a cooldown on the redeem. Actually, I need on all of these buttons on all of these redeems that I do, I have a cooldown built into them. So even if my redeem was 0 cooldown, the redeem itself in Sammy is going to have its own cooldown. Especially did that because I was working on having commands in YouTube. If I did multi-stream or something, because there's no channel points on YouTube. It would just be, if you learn the commands, if you know what they are, you can do them, but there still needs to be a cooldown, which I have to implement directly into the actions here. So ultimately, most of these junks pretty much the same amount of time on screen. I think the anchor falls a little bit faster, or it does. I actually changed the settings on it to do so. Okay. Looks like about 6 seconds. 6 seconds from when you redeem this is when the junk item will move and disappear from the screen. And if I want a 30-second cooldown, I need to have 36 seconds to account for that. Anti-Monks is trying to get the crown, and he landed very close to it, but no crown. That's supposed to be random. So far, it's been 3 dinos in a row. Are my numbers correct? Randomize 1 through 2. If it's a 1, do the dino. If it's a 2, do the anchor. It's on cooldown because I implemented one. Oh, come on. Dropping in. Oh, I got the banana umbrella. Banana umbrella. There we go. Now we have the anchor. But now I fear that I have activated this button multiple times. Yep. And there's your chat message. That's it. Well, not that's it, but I mean all the redemptions have gone through. I did not. Oh, I need to find a sound for the anchor. Or not the anchor, the buoy. Okay. Fortnite, buoy, junk. I'm searching on my other screen. Okay. I could not find one right away. Let me do the zooming in and out on the Rift. We'll do that. Let me see how I have that built. Because I'm using it here with this. See how it zooms into the screen? So whatever I'm doing on that, I need to copy that. Okay, this is what that looks like that I just did. So I'm using a motion against a filter settings. So a filter is applied to the source, and I'm making a motion of a value changing from one value to another over a duration of time. Zoom power. Okay. So I can actually just copy this. Okay, I need to look and see what that zoom filter looks like. Go to studio mode. Oh, first in chat is a redeem. Gotta be under there. First in chat, FICVR. That stands for First in Chat Victory Royale. Okay. Filters. Zoom. Shader filter plugin. Zoom shader. Center point 50/50. Power 15. I can actually copy. Yeah, I can copy that filter and paste it on the other one. I like sources. I like the visual sources first, and then the sounds underneath. Because it's like that in video editing as well. The sound is like it supports the image. It's the background sound. Okay. The sky, the Rift sky. Filter. Paste. There, it's really tiny sky. So if the power of 1 is 100%. Regular zoom, I guess. Now we're going into a 15 zoom out. At its center point. Wow. Wow. Okay. So then when the rift disappears, is down here. Let's see what that looks like. Well, that was weird. It flashed on the screen again. Oh, I know why. Because I gotta reverse the zoom values. I'm not sure if I need a little bit more delay before the item drops. It seems like it's dropping as soon as the rift opens, like immediately. But the dinosaur, that looked alright, I guess. Is there any more? Okay, I feel like that rift needs to close a little sooner than that. I have to adjust when the rift in the sky actually is turned off because I'm zooming out and it's still on the screen for a little bit. It's not completely zoomed to disappearance. It's still there unless I turn it off. Whoa, that was... Okay, that was way too fast. Okay, I know what I need to do. I have the delay for when it disappears set to the same point in time when the zoom out happened, so it shut off. You didn't even get to see the zoom. What if the rift zoomed in faster? Or, I mean, slower? And stayed a little bit longer? Okay. So just imagine now I'm playing Fortnite, and then you redeem the channel point redemption, junk rift. They redeem it again. Let's see if it does the dino. Okay. We accomplished something. I don't think I need the fading in. Just have the junk fall. I could always mess around with that, but not now. I'm done for now. So, go find somebody, raid. Okay, I'm gonna raid someone playing Fortnite. I pressed the redeem so many times they're just falling out of the sky. All right, see you next time. Ending the stream. We got a new redeem now.